وصيلا. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. نستغفر الله. نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. نستغفر الله. نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. نستغفر الله. نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم. أما بعد. Oh, the board is blank. That means you memorized your lesson. Sauta, mashallah, mashallah. Allah bless me, Allah accept. The first day we actually did 2 verses. Alif Lam Mim, that was 1 verse. And the next verse, Tanzilul Kitabi, was the 2nd verse. So we actually scored a day, so we can take off today, inshallah. With which I thought just to, perhaps for the brothers, like many a time the student wonders, okay, I mean, we touched on this last night before the Taraweeh Salah, this journey, Quran and memorization and so on, what does it entail? How does it work? What must I do? How long does it last? That last question is probably the easiest one. It lasts for the rest of your life. From when you decide you're going to start memorizing Quran, it lasts for the rest of your life. There's no off days. Okay, there's 2 off days. La Barang and La Barang. You get off, you don't have to bacha back lesson. That's like official off days. Besides that, you must bacha every single day of your life. But subhanAllah, that is the idea of the commitment and the dedication that one wants to bring to Quran. And subhanAllah, we've heard so many stories, beautiful stories of our mashayikh of old. One that particularly sits quite bright in the mind, and I never met him and I wish that I could have met him, but Sheikh Salih Abadi. You might have heard of the name. Sheikh Salih Abadi. He lived so diagonally opposite Sheikh Hanif Moos in Weinberg. Sheikh Hanif Moos was on this corner, and his house, the door was on the corner, so by Sheikh Hanif's house. And then if you look out so opposite, that's where Sheikh Salih Abadi's house was, right next to the Park Road Masjid. And it would be narrated from many of the residents on days, especially a Sunday, because on a Sunday was the Khatam day. So Sheikh Salih would be by the masjid, and then by the Khatam, and then by this one, and the nikah there, and the tukmal here, and so on. And tot laat in die aand. And then late at night, Sheikh Salih Abadi's window, the light is still on. You would go past the house, you see the light is still on. Why? Because he didn't finish bacha his 5 juz for the day yet. So even on that Sunday that he was so busy through the day, he would stay up until he recited his 5 juz finished for the day, and then his light goes off and he goes to go sleep. Subhanallah. We heard of stories, Mullah Farooq Patel, still alive today, alhamdulillah, one of the teachers at Madrasa in Zakaria, but the teacher of one of our teachers, Mullah Salim Ghaibi. Mullah Salim says that Qarib Mullah Farooq Patel, who by the way was a student of Sheikh Salih Abadi, he recites so much Quran. Allah bless him. I hope you don't see this, because if you see it and you hear me speaking about him, but he recites so much Quran that when he's having a conversation with someone, then you'll see his lips is moving. His lips is moving, his lips is moving, his lips is moving. Because you're speaking to him, so he's listening to you. But while he's listening to you, he's busy reading Quran. And then when it's his turn to speak, in response to whatever you said or asked, he would stop reading. He would answer you. And when he's done answering you, then he goes on reading again until the next thing that you ask him. Subhanallah. This is how people had lived their lives. And it's an idea of commitment and dedication. Right? So we might not be able to reach that level, but subhanallah, what level can you reach, man? You might not be able to memorize the whole Quran, that's also fine. But how much can you? Okay, let's try, come. And think of it this way, students would then ask, Mullah, what is the best way, the best method to memorizing Quran? And over the years, my answer to that has changed. And especially to an adult that has a life of wife and children and job and abilities and so on. My go-to answer now, if you want to memorize Quran, don't memorize the Quran. It's a big shock. If you want to memorize the Quran, don't memorize the Quran. Yes, I explained. You know the Ghadat? Rashid, know the Ghadat? Na? Lekker, mashallah. How did you come to know the Ghadat? Did your Khalifa say, hey, you must sit here now and you must learn this Ghadat, and if you don't know it, I'm going to give you falaka? No. Opa just decided to take you to the Ghadat. Kom ek long. Ons gaan Ghadat maak. And every Thursday night, since you were yay high, you went to the Ghadat. Doesn't matter if you slept there, you just went for the barakat, whatever the case might be. But Opa said, hey, with the Ghadat, you must be in the Ghadat. And 3, 4, 5 years later, then Opa said, right, there's no books, right, maak jy Ghadat. And then the kid, hey, whoa, he was able to read, and he starts reading by the beginning of the Ghadat. And so the idea here is constant repetition, constant religious dedicated repetition. That is a powerful tool that will lead to memorization. Okay, there are many parts of the Ghadat that we maybe learned wrong because that's how we heard it, reading, perhaps being read like that, and the sound then fell on the ear, and then we just continue to memorize it and revise it in that way, which is where correct recitation is very important beforehand. But once I'm able to recite correctly, I should then just continuously recite. And this is also what we find to be the biggest problem in this whole reading, memorizing conundrum. It's not that we don't have, it's not that we cannot recite Quran, it is that we do not recite Quran. It's not that we can't bacha, or that we don't know how to bacha, it's that we don't bacha. And this I find with most people, with most students. Back in the day we went to madrasa and we learned how to bacha. So after we knew how to bacha, then we stopped bacharing, right? Which, with so many other things, you learn how to drive so that you can continuously drive every day, and through your everyday driving you become a better driver. So too should it be with your Quran and Quranic ability and connection. We learn how to recite so that we can recite. Then we should constantly and religiously recite. And through that constant recitation, Allah Ta'ala will allow that the verses of the Quran etch themselves into our minds and in our hearts, inshallah. So, as an initial journey, don't go about memorizing. Just make it a habit of every single day, spend some time with the Quran. Spend some time with the Quran. And as you get older, in fact, you would now tend to want to learn the understanding. So you read the English and you read the translation. And through your understanding, it's even a better way for the older brain to connect and to then remember the Arabic words. In fact, I have one student that is exactly like that. He's busy memorizing, but he can't recall the words just from the Arabic one. So if he makes a mistake, and then I will give him on and I'll speak the English of the meaning of the next verse, and then he's able to catch on, and then he will recite the Arabic, because his brain is now at that point where he must understand to be able to memorize. So that's also a beautiful, powerful tool that the older mind is able to utilize, whereas the younger brain doesn't and can't, employ that particular ability. There are so many ways. Main ingredient is, I suppose, the discipline. The discipline to do it every single day, day in, day out. Whether you're at home, or you're traveling, or you're here, or you're on holiday, or you're Bakhudini, or you're on camp, wherever you might be, have that connection, build that connection, ask and beg Allah to grant that connection. This is what we all need and require first and foremost. We pray that Allah Ta'ala connects us more and more throughout our lives up until the day that we leave this world. And even on that day, Ameen, when Malikul Maut come to fetch us, then we say, Haji, wacht net daar so. Ek bacha eers te klaar is. As ek klaar gebacha is, dan kan jy maar van my vat. Right? This is the kind of connection that we want to the Quran. اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن العظيم واجعله لنا إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة. اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وآناء النهار واجعل القرآن حجة لنا ولا تجعله حجة علينا يا رب العالمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. We'll be around for a few minutes, inshallah. Any of the brothers that want to recite perhaps recaps what we did through the week, you are most welcome to do so and get some feedback on that, inshallah. Shukran.